WOLFPACK, assemble! What's going on? It's TC, and this is DnB Talk with DJ Craze. Firstly, if you're new to the WOLFPACK, a very warm welcome, and if you're not, welcome back. And if you find any of the information in this video useful, please smash the like button. If you're not already part of the community, part of the WOLFPACK, hit that subscribe button to receive notifications every time I upload some fresh new information. Also, don't forget to check out my samples and presets for Vital, Serum, Massive, FM8. Check out my t-shirts and hats. Follow my Anthems playlist on Spotify. Follow my Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, links in the description. In this episode of DnB Talk, I have got, I believe, 4 times World DMC champion, USA DMC champion, 6 times Scratch Off champion, 2 times Zulu Nation champion, and in my mind, above all of that, one of the best DnB DJs I've ever had the pleasure to witness in the dance, the unbeatable dubplate destroyer, DJ Craze. What you saying, bruv?
What up?
Did I get? I feel like I got
intro.
I think I got some of that wrong. Like I checked out. I was on your Wikipedia just trying to get that intro on point. But I mean, really, you get to a certain point in a career and you kind of won everything. Did it get to a point where you were just like, I'm not even going to enter this now?
Nah. I mean, yeah. First of all, the Wikipedia was wrong. There was a lot more titles. There was a lot more titles then.
There's
it was
lot
just
more.
3 times DMC,
Yeah.
5 times all around because I won twice with teams, and then the other ones were just leading up to the DMCs, but like the DMCs are the ones that count the most, you feel me?
Yeah.
So yeah. But I just stopped battling just because I was like, all right, cool, it's time to do something different. Like after I won the 3rd time, nobody had done it at the time, and I was just like, this is cool, but like I want to do something different.
It's an incredible achievement, and the amount of planning and focus, I really appreciate that kind of ninja warrior spirit of just like, it's battle out there, it's a war, and there's warfare in drum and bass. You know, when we're coming up to, I know when you DJ'd before me a few times, actually on like the last tour, I could feel your energy. I could feel that you're coming out there to sort of like bring that kind of fire. And like, how much preparation do you put in, or were you putting in before those things? Because you were cutting dubs and stuff. And
For drum and bass or for battling?
for the battling stuff.
Oh shit, for the battling, I mean, first of all, you know that energy you're talking about, that's that B-boy energy. That's, we all got that shit in us. You know what I mean? Like, even when it comes to production, when it comes to anything, I just have like a real high competitive spirit just because, you know, that's what we're taught when we're young. Like for me, hip hop, like I embraced hip hop so much because of that. It's like, it was not about what you had or who you were. It's about like how much skills you brought to the table. And that was your clout. That was your fucking money. You know what I mean? Like as a B-boy, you want to be the best just because that gives you that fucking vibe of like, yeah, that's the Don right there. So like just for sets, I plan them out more now than before because before I used to just freestyle a lot. And you know what I mean? And just like, oh, I got this. I'm gonna see what happens. Let's let the magic happen. But I've noticed that prepping, it's better for me because then I don't have to stress as much and I could just have fun. So like now I prep for all my streams, I prep for all my sets, and I think it's better to prep.
Have you found yourself being like when you're prepping for stuff, do you visualize yourself sort of in the club environment? I know that you do sort of, I take a little bit from what you did. I remember I saw you a long time ago, like 2006 or 2005 in Scotland alongside, you had Armani with you. And right. I remember you dropped one of your set pieces. And as like a youth DJ who I was not even like anywhere near your level, you were like on some crazy level, and I was like, wow, there's like a real showmanship, and it's like start of the show thing. And I just remember thinking, I need to step up my DJ game a little bit. And I love that about this, you know, like watching other DJs and going like, oh, wow, okay. Like set pieces can be really cool. And the preparation that goes into those set pieces, I can see that it would take a lot of time. But yeah, that's awesome. I'm really interested to sort of dig down a little bit into mainly like the drum and bass side of things. And I'm super interested to know like when you first became aware of drum and bass as a genre, and like what were the first tunes on your radar that you were like, yo, this is, because I can imagine it would have been maybe a slightly different sound, or maybe you heard the whole evolution of it. I'm interested to know like the first sort of.
Yeah, so the first time I heard drum and bass was in Munich around 96 or 97.
Wow.
That was like my actual first time even traveling out of the country. So it was a big deal for me. Yeah. It was a big deal for me. And I went to Munich to play a hip hop set for this guy named Florian. And he owned a record store, and it was all electronic music. And back in '97, you know, being a hip hop boy, like all of electronic music we called techno. We didn't care what it was. Everything was techno.
Okay.
That's why when you hear Eminem say that shit in that one song, nobody listen to techno, he was talking about all
everything. Right.
Everything.
Okay.
So being a hip hop boy, I get to Munich, and I'm going through all these records, and I'm like, what the hell is all this stuff? And he's just like, yeah, that's techno, that's house, that's drum and bass, that's this, that's that. And I'm just like, just confused. I'm like, all right, cool. So like, I started hearing some stuff, and I was like, oh, okay, it ain't my vibe. I was like, all right, cool, you know, whatever. I go to the gig, and right after my gig, my set was in a small room, and then there was a main room, a huge room, and I finished my set, killed it, and everybody was happy, and I wanted to get drunk, and I was like, what's in the main room? And they were like, oh, it's Hype and Shy FX.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, yeah. And I was just like, all right, what do they do? And they were just like, they spin jungle and drum and bass. And I'm like, all right, cool, let's go check it out. And I walk into the room, and the vibe was just amazing. The vibe reminded me of like when I first got into hip hop, and you know, when I was a kid, the vibe was, everybody was there for the music, everybody was there for the DJ, like nobody was like flashy or trying to be, you know, because like at that time, 96, 97, that's when the Jiggy era was kicking in. And I was getting like, you know, I wasn't attracted to that. So I was kind of like, you know, kind of like not wanting to be into hip hop at that moment. So I walked into this room, the vibe is dope, you know, and it's more raga. So like for me growing up in Miami, it made more sense to me. You feel me? I was just like, oh, word, what the hell's going on here?
Was it like a really alien sort of sound to your ears? Like,
for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. Remember, this is pre-internet days. This is like, you know, whatever you heard on the radio and whatever you heard on mixtapes, that's all you had. So it was just crazy. It was just like, you know, just experiencing something new.
Yeah.
Like new. And, you know, it was Hype and Shy FX. And I remember when Shy FX dropped Bambaataa, I was like, oh shit, that's fucking Rapper's Delight on 45.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I was just like, yo, I started connecting the dots. And with the ragas, with the reggae sound, with the hip hop sound, and then just looking at these two guys, that they looked hip hop. You feel me? They weren't like the house DJs with, you know, the way that they dress or anything.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? It was Hype and Shy FX. I was like, this makes sense. And then I just remember the first rewind for whatever tune it was. I can't remember what it was. I was just like, oh, we're in Miami now, because
right.
You know what I'm saying?
With the dance hall culture.
With the dance hall culture now. I was like, oh shit, now we're in Miami. Like, what the fuck is going on? And you know, I stayed the whole night. I got really lit, and you know, I woke up the next morning and I was just like, all right, Florian, take me back to your record store. Show me all those records that they were playing. And so then he pointed me to the drum and bass section. And I remember hearing, you know, like Dope Dragon and stuff like that, and Aphrodite, the jump up stuff. And I was like, ooh, this is my kind of vibe.
Were you like immediately sort of thinking, I could introduce this to a whole new audience, like, you know, people not going to really even know any of these tunes, and it's kind of double time of the 87 BPM thing. So like, you guys were probably already doing that with the like quick cuts and stuff. So like, yeah, man, that's sick.
But yeah, I was thinking the same thing you just said. I was thinking, all right, I'm gonna buy these records. I'm gonna take them home. I'm gonna show them to my boys. I'm gonna tell them what I experienced, and it's gonna be a vibe. You know, thinking, yo, listen to me. But they didn't.
I mean, that's the whole USA kind of UK drum and bass thing. There's, you know, DJ Fury from up in
Denver. Yeah.
He's always like saying, 2021 is the year for drum and bass this year. Do you know what I'm saying?
We've been saying that forever. You know what I mean? Like, we've been saying that forever. And it's not a bad thing that it hasn't blown up, because like, you know, when stuff gets Americanized, I'm not going to say what happens, but you know, it's a different vibe.
You know, I like everything, and I feel like, you know, you guys always do your take on things. And there was that whole thing where drum and bass kind of started kicking off, but in like a real sort of kind of dark, energetic kind of way, with like the tech-itch kind of sound and that kind of stuff. But I guess, and that was like the American take of it. But I feel like there's going to be something that comes through.
That was a great era, by the way. That was a great era. Yeah.
Some really interesting music, very challenging kind of music, but I mean, really cool. I like to play some of that weird stuff, you know, just to sort of spin out a crowd for a little 2 minutes and then go back into something, you know. But that's really fascinating that, like, on your first first international kind of foray as a DJ was when you were introduced to drum and bass. It's fascinating for me. I remember like the first time I went abroad as a DJ was to play Door Festival. You know Door Festival?
Yeah, played that a couple times. Yeah.
It was a proper baptism of fire from my point of view. It's like a kid from Bristol, never been anywhere before. Actually, that's not true. I think the first time I went to and played in LA, but like the second or third was off to do Door Festival. So, but I mean, as a DJ going to other countries, do you find playing in different territories, like the first time is like a learning experience to almost educate yourself on like what those crowds are kind of feeling, and you have to, I mean, I noticed when you played before me, was it Puerto Rico on the World of Drum and Bass thing?
But I'm getting old and I don't remember.
I know. The thing is, the last time, and you played to that crowd, and I was like, wow, okay. Like understanding the different territories is quite a big part of it.
Oh shit, right. I remember. No, that was recent. Like
real recent. Yeah.
Right.
No, I'm not digging into your history. Be like,
in a long time.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I'm not like trying to dig into history and be, you know, when people come up to you, be like, yo, I met you like 10 years ago. You're like, yeah.
Yeah.
But you played like a couple tunes that you knew that they would know in that dance, like Spanish language tunes, and like just sort of switch them up with some tunes I didn't even know existed, like some dub plates. And I love that. I love that, you know, I love to be schooled by other DJs, even though it hurts me in my soul that I don't know what those tunes are.
But I feel the same way. Like for me, that's what motivates me. Like I love inspiration. You know what I mean? Like when somebody goes on before me and kills me, I take that shit as like, word, that was fire. Now I got to come back. So the next round, I'm going to murder it. You know what I mean? Like I never, like if somebody burns me, it only pisses me off if it's somebody that sucks. You know what I mean? Like, it's somebody that, you know what I mean? Like just plays the most corniest shit, plays it safe, and like, you know. But yeah, it's all inspiration. I love being inspired.
How do you find it playing multi-genre nights where like you might have like a house guy on before you, or like you know, or even like a full drum and bass guy before or after you? Do you find that you kind of like you enjoy that experience? And like, is it do you find?
I mean, depends on the vibe and depends where they leave me, right?
Right. Yeah.
Because if they leave me over here and I have to take it back up, it's kind of like, oh damn. But if they leave me here, like if they've done their thing and then for the last 5 minutes they're like, all right, cool, and then I could bring it back up, it's like, thank you. Like it's like playing sports. It's like, yo, just hand the ball to me, but hand it to me in a nice way. Like don't give it to me over here where I just got to be like blah 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 first, and then I'm going down. Like I'm still one of those DJs that believes in that little journey, you know what I mean, and that little kind of like vibe where like a lot of festivals out here in the States, they just keep it up to here, and it's just like it's high energy the whole time. I like going like this. So
I'm a great believer in the transition between DJs is quite a sacred time, and you should always.
Yes, you should bring out Palo Santo and
something. You know, you got to sort of like, you got to respect the guy before you and shake the hand and just be like, you know, say hello, have the small talk. Don't touch that headphone socket until they finish the last tune. It's a big thing in drum and bass.
Transition, because for us hip hop DJs, we got to do the Serato thing and all that shit. So help with the transition.
Everybody helps.
That's a sign of a good DJ, a good fucking human.
I had it before one time where I skipped Andy C's record by accident when I was plugging. I got the death stare of like, do you know what I mean?
Oh shit!
But there is definitely a big thing in that transition time when you're handing over to the next guy as well. I've been going through this thing before we go lockdown and stuff, where I would kind of just play a more chilled out tune as the last tune, just to almost reset the dance and be aware that we're in like you know, it's a community vibe. And I was never really that guy to try and do the 6 double drops before the last guy has to come on. And it's all about like the night, right? It's all about, you know, the show must go on. I've had it where I've like had like monitors have been the wrong heights, and I've helped other DJs kind of put monitors at the right place and stuff. But
move all the alcohol beverages. leave it clean.
Yeah, I'll help people. I'll get them a drink. I'm not too proud to go, find a bottle of vodka or something. So do you ever foray into, like, you said you were talking about production and that kind of stuff? Like, I'm interested to know sort of more on the technical side about like when you're producing and like the software that you use. What DAW are you currently sort of?
Logic.
You're a Logic
I learned
guy.
on Logic.
Yeah.
And funny story, I bought Logic really early on, like, early 2000s or shit, maybe like 99, because, people like Tech Itch and the people that would come over a lot to the States, and we were on the same agency, I would ask them, like, I want to get into making this kind of shit. What do y'all use? And everybody was like Logic, because at the time it was the new thing. So I started with Logic and I stayed on Logic. Everybody has told me to switch to Ableton, but like the learning curve for me is too crazy, because like I do a bunch of other stuff. I run a label, I'm always DJing and all that stuff. So I'm comfortable with Logic, and I learned with it, so that's where I'm at.
I use the Ableton quite a lot and Logic in parallel. I don't do like a rewire thing, but if I want to just quickly knock up like a dub plate or a bootleg, I'll usually turn to Ableton, just because the workflow is actually really, really fast. I got these buttons in front of me.
Here, everybody says that. Yeah.
But if I'm making like a TC tune, really Logic is like has a certain sound to it, which it's really like crispy and like clear, and the clarity that you get from Logic is just next level. I feel I hear a lot of people that use Cubase. They never really complain though. Like I know that Rob Swire's on Cubase and a bunch of other producers. And apparently with Cubase, there's like this secret sauce where you can turn it up and like clip into the final channel, and it just doesn't distort. It just keeps getting louder. And I'm always like, kind of really want to go down that road and try out the Cubase thing. Do you find yourself, you've got like the way that you work, and do you integrate new plugins into your system very often, or are you more like a...
No, I kind of like just keep it safe. My homie that like gives me everything, like he just always laces me up. I'll ask him like every couple months, all right, what's the new one that's out there right now that I should try with all the new sounds? Right. And he'll bless me with something. I'll use that for a bit. And that's it. But I like to have my my go-tos, and I like to just be able to knock ideas down quick. That was the problem with me in the beginning with producing, like, because I don't come from the production world. So it was the learning curve was so long, and it took me forever to get my ideas out, that I would just kind of make a beat a year. You know what I mean? And like now I'm like way faster. I could knock out ideas quicker, because I'm comfortable and I know everything that I need to know. I still don't know a lot that I want to know, but I know little things that I can, get my ideas out quicker.
And you produce, I've heard you sent me a couple sort of drum and bass starts of tunes, and they're really interesting to me. I know we never really actually got to the point where we did the collab thing, but I would really still like to do that.
Yeah. So
like there's one that I could definitely recommend to you. There's a synth called Vital. I don't know if you've heard of that one.
You're talking about it all the time.
I'm all about it. I'm not, there's no sponsorship or connection here. It's literally
it's free, right?
It's free. And the guy who made it is just like one guy. It's not like a huge big company or anything. It's just like one dude put this synth together, and it's super nice, man. It's super like amazing sounding, really, really kind of clean, and I would definitely recommend that if you were trying to
I'm gonna go download it as soon as we're done.
Yeah, you should do, man.
Gotta finish a bunch of shit today.
Oh, what's going on for you right now then?
What did I have open before this? Oh yeah, I have these Bylet edit packs that I put out. So I'm trying to finish the third one with like a loopy edit, an edit from a Treasure Finger song, an edit from a new Khaled thing that I like.
So you're doing like bootleg, almost like bootleg remixes kind of things, or?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. It's just like, for the clubs. Because I play a lot of Bylet, I play a lot of like global music. So I got to finish that up. And then I got a remix that I'm doing from my boy Replicant that he just put out. He's putting out a tune on Slow Rose Friday.
Okay.
Right. So yeah.
Yeah, nice, man. I guess making yourself specials for your DJ sets, is that a big thing for you? Do you find yourself like, I
mean, I'm not that fast where I can make a special every week, but yeah, like, I started knocking out these Bylet edits and people were freaking out, and I was just like, I'll just make some more. And then, I started playing them on my global stream night. And it feels good to just have like your shit.
Oh,
and
man.
you're playing your edits. Like, that's just fire. So yeah, I try to make more, but you know, focusing more on original production is the key for me now, which is crazy because like I'm way into my career and now I'm finally like, oh shit, I want to get really focused onto this shit.
Well, I think with all the connections that you would have built up over the years, there's probably an amazing opportunity for you to get into that production space in like a big way and sort of like, you know, start knocking out those hits, bro.
Well, like that's another thing. And at this age, like the pandemic really put things into perspective, right? And it's like for me, I've always won when I just do whatever the hell I want to do. Like whenever I try to do something is when I fail. Or whenever I try to do something for money, I fail hard.
Right.
So like with the pandemic, yeah, I just started doing shit that I like, which was the beginning of the Baile edit packs, getting back into drum and bass. Cause like I was spinning drum and bass, but you know, maybe like once a year. And like when I started streaming, my fucking drum and bass streams got all the highest numbers. So I was just like, oh shit. And then I did a set for Ram that got the highest numbers.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, cool, man. Like, I feel the love for this shit again. And so I started doing it again. And so, yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. But yeah, oh, you're right. So yeah, I just kind of like follow what I like. So like hits, I think I'm not going there, but if they happen, they happen. Like I did this one tune with somebody on my label called Bilo. It's called Danger Zone. And we made that shit just like really quick. And I was just like, yo, I'm gonna come with the drum and bass mentality and you come with the trap mentality. Let's make a hybrid. And it came out really dope and it's doing really well. And you know, we didn't go into it saying, let's make some hits. We were just like, let's fucking do something new. Let's try to create something different.
I was talking to Armani Rain on one of these things and he's doing a few hip hop tracks with Bro Safari and their like whole ethos behind the thing is like no rules. And he's got like from triplets to like 5-6 time, like really interesting stuff going on. And I'm super excited to see where that goes.
And I too, so it'll be dope.
On some levels, definitely from a production standpoint. And I just love the ethos of No Rules. And going back to what you said before about, you know, with production, it really isn't about thinking you're going to make a hit. It's just about doing what you want to do. And I feel I really draw parallels from when you said, like, if you've ever got like money or success or any of that in mind, it's just going to crash and burn in such a like bad way. I'm the same as you. I cannot physically do things that I don't want to do. Like if I've got a bunch of emails, it's so hard for me to like reply to them. It actually hurts, you know, like in my chest, I'm like, I can't reply to these emails because I'm not an email guy. I'm just like, I want to be in the studio or I really want to be having like good conversations with people. It seems like I feel like with this stuff, with the DnB talk, I just like really want to do it. It's something that, you know, if we were on the road together, we would have had this exact same conversation. You know, I'm super interested in what people have got going on, man. So do you ever use like hardware stuff when you're producing? So like the MPC or you got some keyboards.
The Andromeda and the Nord, but I don't use them anymore.
That's such a
And with the Andromeda, it's so crazy because like before this studio, I had my studio in the garage of my old house.
Yeah.
And I had fluorescent lights and the fluorescent lights fucked up all the circuitry.
Really?
Yeah, man. And like nobody told me nothing. And when I mean, I didn't read, but in small print, they had that shit in the beginning of the fucking booklet. And I was like,
wow. Is that like permanent, like it permanently destroyed the circuitry or it was just because of like...
like when I'll have a sound and if I come back 5 minutes later, that sound has already morphed into something else.
Oh no.
One of those ones. Yeah. It's just but MPC, I had it here. Like that's what I started making beats on, but no, everything is in Logic.
Yeah.
Cause like everything is in Logic and yeah, that's it.
I used to be like, I used to have an MPC and loads of hardware and stuff, but I always felt like it would mean that my music or my creative spaces were in too many different places. And as you said, having it all in Logic or all in one place, like I used to have like 2 laptops for production and my main computer. And like, I just never knew where any of my projects were. And it was just, I need to have this sort of one space, as you say. Are you super organized? You seem like with your DJ sets, they're very intricate. So are you quite OCD about the way that you save and all of that stuff?
Yeah, I'm very OCD. Like
Yeah.
the first thing I do when I wake up, I come into the studio and I clean.
Really?
I make sure everything's clean. I make sure everything's in its place.
Yeah.
And then I start my work. And the first thing I do is just like organize my, computer, go through my emails, make sure everything's organized. And, shit, I'm very OCD. So
That's
with like
cool.
even routines, even with like everything I do, I like things to be.
What is your daily routine? What's like a perfect day executed for you?
Maybe like 8 a.m. in the morning, have my coffee, come into my studio,
Clean.
check out tunes, clean. First, you got to clean. Then check for new tunes, like go through my promos, go through my emails, make sure that all that shit is handled.
How many promos are you dealing with on the morning? Normally like 20, 25, something like that.
Something like that, maybe more, because like throughout the years, you accumulate those promo lists.
Yeah, man.
Right? So like, but it's not all dope shit. I get a lot of techno stuff that's not my vibe. I get a lot of like, very loud EDM music.
Yeah.
But I always check for everything, because even those labels and those emails, there's sometimes good shit. There's like sometimes shit that I like.
This is so important, right? Because, we're living in this age where even if you're not on a promo list kind of DJ, you be looking through Beatport and it might be sort of like you feel like it's an insurmountable task to go through all those tunes, but you got to go through all the tunes, because there could be that one gem that is just like mwah, and it fits so perfectly into the set, and it's that, bro, I'm all about that as much as I possibly can, to listen to everything. Sometimes like randos will send you a tune that's amazing too.
Exactly. And I love discovering new talent, and I love discovering new DJs, new producers. So like anybody that sends me stuff, I listen to it. And that's how I've discovered a couple of dope new kids, you know what I'm saying? Like the John Casey's, like the Singularis, like the people that I put out on my label. It's been just like that. I've heard somebody play some shit, and then I hit them up and I'm like, yo, who are you? And they'll just be like, well, here you go, all this music. And I'll just be like, oh shit, can I put your music out? And they're usually like, fuck yeah, you know what I mean? So yeah, I love finding new music. I love finding new producers. Like that's what keeps me going in this shit. You know what I'm saying? Because like when I get bored of something, I don't know if it's because of my OCD, but when I get bored of something, I just want to get the fuck away from it. I mean, like with styles, with genres, with everything. Once I'm bored, I'm like, all right, I need something new to keep that fire burning.
I've been discovering that a lot of my sort of core values are about like being in service to others, and that's why I'm doing a lot of these kind of talks and stuff. And I don't like release other people's music, but I really want to. But having a label feels like such a responsibility to like have to like almost take a producer under your wing, and I feel like that would be the greatest responsibility, and I just don't know if I'm ready for that yet. I can't go on.
Sorry, the way I look at it is like we're kind of like just the cosign now, right?
Right.
And we're just like giving them the foot into the door. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like for me, like I let them know, I'm just like, yo, we'll put out this one single or one EP, and then you could do whatever the fuck you want, because I don't want to just milk you. I don't want to do anything that you don't want to do. I want everybody to, I want to introduce you, because that's what makes me feel good. It makes me feel good to introduce the world to a bunch of new shit, whether it be a producer, a genre, or whatever. Like I always like embrace new genres, because I'm like, ooh, it makes me feel like a kid again. You know what I mean? Yeah. It makes me feel like, what is this? I discovered something new. It's the same thing with producers, and that's how I treat my label. My label, I want it to be known as like the tastemaker label. Yeah. Where like whatever Craze puts out, that's gonna be the next guy. And I usually don't hold them down to our label. I'm usually like, yo, if the next label comes to you and they want to give you more money, or they want to like do more stuff with you, good
luck.
Yeah, good luck. If you're comfortable with me and my vision, yeah, that's cool too. But like I never want to be responsible for somebody's career. I only want to intro them, because being responsible for somebody's career is a bitch.
Tell me about it. I mean, every label I ever signed to, even from like the beginning, they would send you like a contract like this, and it's like, and you just like, but can I not just put the tune out with you? I know, perpetuity, bruv.
That's the when you read that.
No, I know. Throw it out the window.
Fuck out of here. Nah.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, I've seen that, on contracts before, and actually that was one of the first lessons that I learned. If I ever saw the word perpetuity on a contract, it's just not the one. Because even in like 15 years time, even if they own the tunes for 15 years, in 15 years time, you might want to re-exploit that material or do a remix album or whatever. So yeah, just be careful of that word, man. Definitely. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, man.
Well, that's very interesting to sort of see about, like, I'm also really interested in your DJ technicalities and the equipment that you're using. I don't know this, but I'm guessing you're a Serato guy.
Serato, for sure. There's a new one called Algorithm that's really, really cool.
Really?
Yeah, I'm talking to them right now, but it's like, it's so much to get. It's so much to like think about, because this is like, all right, RX-7 or RX-8?
Yeah.
You could separate everything. It's basically a DJ version of that.
I'm just making notes because I'm really interested in that. Algorithm.
Yeah. So basically, you could mix beats and bass lines of your favorite tunes.
Okay. I mean, it's very similar to what we've been doing in drum and bass. Yeah, no, so you got the stems, right?
You got the stems, and you can mix live like that. And it's like, like I was playing with it and I was just like mixing drum and bass shit, and I was just like, holy shit. Yeah, it's almost too much to handle, because then to plan out a set, you're just like, oh shit.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
That's interesting.
It's a vibe. But no, I use Serato, and I use 2 Rain 12s. Yeah. And I'm sponsored by Rain, so I use everything Rain right now.
Okay. And have you used those little things, those little Bluetooth things?
Yeah, Phase.
Yeah, Phase. Okay. Sick.
Yeah.
Nice.
We the first time it came out, we were all in Poland for a Red Bull 3 style.
Right.
And, they came up to us in a room, and they were just like, all right, check this out. And it was just like,
yeah. I know Marky's big on the Phase thing as well, and like I've seen Marky using those a lot. I switched from Serato to like the USB sticks, and I mean, I really like playing on USBs with the Pioneers. It's fantastic, but I miss Serato. Actually, a lot of me misses the deeper selection of having a whole hard drive of tunes, and like the list just isn't quite big enough on the little Pioneer screens. I like to see a list of like,
you gotta like do one of these things where you're like constantly like, which was that?
I always used Denon, those big heavy Denon brick things where you could have it like on the mouse pad, so you never had to look like you were checking your emails.
Yeah, I had the Denons too. I had those, and the ones with the moving wheel.
No, this was like a single Denon controller, like a heavy, like it was almost like a brick. Did you ever see those ones? And
no.
I just used it because you could select on there with a scroll wheel and then hit left or right for the decks. And I got so muscle memory with that thing. I just really miss like that whole DJ setup. I kind of felt like more of a DJ with a Serato computer and turning up and plugging in than I do with just my little USB sticks and just plug them into the CDJs.
But I would love to show up to a gig with just a USB stick.
I mean,
I would love that shit, because it's like
checklists,
wow, it's like so much easy. It's so much easier.
I used to have a whole checklist of things that I had to take with me in order for my Serato to work. So I would need like this whole list of like all the cables, Serato box, laptop, power supply.
And the other thing that sucks about it is that your computer could freak out whenever the fuck it wants to. And that shit happened to me many times.
I never had like a proper fuck up on my laptop, but that my Serato laptop went everywhere, like around the world, like 10 times, and I always switched it off and on before each gig. That was like a ritual. But I did leave the power supply in a couple towns in the venues
last week. Yeah. And it's like with these new computers, it's that it's that little Thunderbolt thing. It's not like a charger, so it's a bitch.
Yeah.
Many chargers lost in the world travels.
And then you've got to sort of find another Apple store in whatever sort of backwater town that you are in. So it can get a little bit messy with the Serato. I mean, with the USBs, you can't always guarantee that you're going to get the right CDJs as well when you turn up. And I always felt like Serato was so bomb-proof from that aspect. Like, I could play even if they just had 1210s. I would always have like some vinyl with me, or I could play if it was like CDJ 200s, because I'd always carry like the CD time codes with me as well. Right. So like, I miss it, man. I miss it a lot. But I just had to step into the whatever 2021 and just be like, yo.
Yeah, they've been using sticks longer than that.
It's true. It's true. I heard one guy had a problem with his USB sticks where like each tune was like playing the wrong song of the things.
What the fuck?
Turned up. I know, one of them ones, man. It'd just be an absolute nightmare. So yeah, man, I really appreciate your time today. And it's really cool to catch up with you and find out about what you've got going on. And, you know, it's just, I want to talk to everybody in drum and bass and just...
Hell yeah. I've been keeping up with some of these. Yeah, I saw Armani's was last week, no? Or you dropped it last week?
I dropped Armani's last week. I did, I've already done one today with a guy from New Zealand who's doing the drive time, but he plays a lot of drum and bass on the main radio station out there. I just had Ed Solo and I just had Aries, and I've been trying to do like 2 or 3 a day. So I'm trying to like really step up the game on them, man. So there's going to be some... Wow, I just think it's really interesting. I think that, like there's so much information out there, and you know, I just want to get it out to the people. And drum and bass is such a worldwide thing, and like not just everybody, like everybody who's in this scene. You know, it's not just like the big DJs. There's like promoters. There's like, and they're all equally as important. You know, and their stories and their experiences. So I'm just really gassed to be able to talk to you today. It's sick, bro.
My God, well, shit, man. Gas to talk to you too, and thank you for the dubs.
I sent you a few bits, man. I've got loads more, loads more. But I just thought if I was gonna sort of get you on the show, I'd have to pay you in kind.
Oh nah, fool. Nah, not at all. Hell no. I'm excited to talk to you and shit, man. You're like one of my favorite producers in drum and bass.
Oh, thanks,
have been for a long time. Like one of my family's favorite song is Flatline.
Really?
Yeah, because like when it first came out, I was bumping the shit out of that.
Oh, blessed.
So like, you know, years later when we hear it, it takes us back, and we're all singing that shit. You can't shut me down. Yeah, man. Hell yeah, big.
That's
tune.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Another one, Soul Time. Soul Time.
I mean, I don't even think Soul Time ever came out, man.
You should have, because like even when I played on streams, like people ask what it is.
Yeah, I like having dub plates that never came out though. I think it's really cool to build the kind of, I don't know what you would call it, the ethos or the sort of.
But then when they come check you, that's what they. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I think it's good to have some tunes that don't come out. I mean, talking from like the point of view, if you're a new producer as well, it's definitely not worth putting out everything that you write, I would say. It's important to keep some sort of gifts for the scene as well, because it might be that, you know, if you're swapping some tunes with another DJ or producer, like they're not going to want the tune that you put out last week. They want like some dub plate that's never coming out that they can be like, yo.
That's what's cool about drum and bass, and like the whole other, you know, whole side of EDM. They don't really do that. You know what I mean? Like, well, some of the trap kids do. Trap,
yeah. Okay, yeah.
Some of the trap
I feel
kids,
like
they'll be sending me IDs. They call them IDs, and I'm just like, oh shit, is this a dub?
I kind of almost feel like drum and bass is the trap music of
the US?
Of the UK in a funny kind of way. I mean, well, like if you think about it, the whole trap ethos is like you're trapped in your ghetto, right? Like you're trapped, and the only way you can get out is to like make music or, you know, get good at sport or whatever it is. I mean, as a kid, I grew up in like as a very poor kid in like a Afro-Caribbean area of Bristol, and you know there was no way that I was going to be able to sort of support myself or become successful if I didn't do music. So I feel like almost drum and bass for me was like my trap music in a funny kind of way. And I don't know if like if the ethos of trap doesn't really get explained all that much, kind of, or not so many people know. I mean, trap was massive for a minute as well. I remember there was like...
It's having this little comeback.
Okay, that's interesting. What kind of genres are you following now? Because I bet there's some stuff that you know about that. Because I remember bumping into you at like a festival, and you were like, yo, you need to get on... I think you said you need to get on dubstep, and I'd never even heard of what dubstep was.
Was I introduced you to dubstep?
I think so.
Well, it must have been at the time when Juju was on it, because Juju was really, really early onto it too. And even in the States, he don't get the credit he deserves, but Juju was the one that kind of like introduced 12 Planet to it. He introduced me to it.
Wow.
And it was around the time when it was just beginning. Like, you know what I'm saying? He was cool with all those guys. And and I was like, I wasn't really big onto it, but I was just like, oh shit, if the right producer gets on, you know what I mean? Because like, I didn't mean like the right producer. I meant like, it was so dubby that I kind of knew people weren't going to fuck with it in the beginning. And I was just like, yo, it's about to blow up though, because it was such a new vibe. And, you know.
I really think that I missed that boat, and I could have jumped on that boat, like that wave in a big way. But I mean, I just could never let go of drum and bass. So like, it was so in my soul that, you know, I could dance to dubstep, you know, like the reason why I never moved over to doing like techno or house or anything like that is I have no clue. Well, yeah, I mean, but there's not any of this going on, you know, and it just wasn't enough for me to sort of like.
We dance the same. We need those fingers. We need those trigger fingers.
That's what I'm saying. Right. So, I mean, yeah, the dubstep thing, it's just become like a crazy phenomenon in like the States. But as you say, a lot of people who were the pioneers of that genre, it's not like drum and bass where the pioneers are sort of celebrated. It's almost as if some of the pioneers don't get the credit they kind of deserve. Like I always feel like Jake's kind of coined that rhythm sort of sound with those weird synths that are just like rah, 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 rah.
Yeah.
And I remember I would go to Jake's, and he was staying at Tech Itch's house when Tech Itch would be going off to the States and living in like Los Angeles, and I would just go there, and Jake's would be like in a room, a dark sort of soundproof room, and every time I got there, he'd have like 10 new tunes that were just that he was firing off to all the dubstep producers.
Crazy.
I just never felt
Jake's was murdering it.
He was murdering it, and I feel like he just didn't move. He should have just moved to America, maybe, and it would have been the one. I mean, everyone sort of ends up in Los Angeles at some point, right?
Right. They either like, you know, come over here and try to set up shop, or they fall in love.
Yeah, it's true, man. I think on that note, that's a beautiful way to end it. And yeah, man. Thanks so much for your time today. I appreciate you.
Well, thank you, man, and keep doing your thing.
Yeah,
Big
I'm on
fan,
it.
And much love, much respect.
I'll send you some more beats.
My guy.
Blessings, bro. Take it easy. So if you found anything in this video interesting, please smash the like button. Don't forget to hit subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications so you can keep up to date with all that's new from me. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you have any ideas for future videos, I read all your comments. Don't forget to join the Discord server. Check out the links for the samples and presets in the description. A massive big up to all the WOLFPACK and DJ Craze. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.